Okay, friends, we're doing something new and different. So, as always, a little bit excited, a little bit nervous. Um, the last month or so has been incredible for me to kind of put my head up from just the focus of Milo and just the work of our homes and our families, and to really get a sense of like what's happening in our communities, what's also happening on the very forefronts of AI, like everything from like the risks to the climate impact to the breakthroughs and the advances and what's happening in code and science. And it's been really fun, but also kind of overwhelming, I think, because I always thought I had a specifically kind of like unique point of view, standing in the middle of like the very human things and the very tech things. But the more I've been reading, the more I've been consuming, the more I realized that it's not just a unique point of view, it's that the two sides aren't necessarily talking, but there are a lot of people that are interested in what if both sides were talking. Because maybe I'll just explore it or explain it in how I feel. I feel generally very optimistic about technology, what it can do, how it can really unlock new possibilities. And I think it's been problematic about how technology has been being built in the last 10 or 15 years by a smaller set of people with a different set of trade offs than maybe I would make. And all I can think of is how would we want it to go with AI, which is orders of magnitude more impactful, more just like more, all of the things. And for me, I want to change what my writing has been more from a passive stance. I think it's like it's been a place for me to reflect, to process, and to share, but I want to try something different. I want to be more active and I want to collaborate and I want to ask questions that might be uncomfortable, might be a little crazy, might not even be the right question. But from where I stand, I think we need a space for the skeptical optimists that I like to say, using this approach of dialectical thinking, which is to say, get to know both sides really, really well and understand it at the deeper kind of nuanced kind of place so that we could build something that is wholly new, that only comes from understanding the two poles. I think that's how we've been able to build some of the most interesting kind of things. I mean, just in this room, this is a Samsung frame, it's a TV, but it's also this incredible kind of way to have art be displayed in our home. I could go on and on about some of the biggest and best pieces of technology in my life aren't necessarily just cutting edge technology. And they're not necessarily just analog kind of things. They have like a really interesting kind of fusion from the middle. And so I want to bring that here. The other piece is that I want to collaborate with others. That's been my very favorite kind of part of building both Poppy and Milo was collaborating with other families, other people, because the magic happens when I can kind of put out a little kernel of an idea, but then others are like, well, yeah, this works for me, but in my community we kind of do it like this, and then it kind of grows and it expands and it's tested against other kind of parameters. And so for me, I want to try something completely new. We've built up like a pretty big kind of following, but I don't want to assume or presume that this is something that is important or interesting in your life. And so, if it is, and if it's something that you want to engage on, then I'm starting the whole list anew from scratch. I say this to potential founders all the time: never be afraid of small numbers, but be very wary of sort of apathetic engagement. And so taking a dose of my own medicine, I'm okay if it's only like 10 people or 50 people or whatever that number is. But if we're having a deeper conversation, if we're able to actually push with respect on these really hard questions, then I think that matters way more than 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 kind of people who are like, yeah, maybe. And so, yeah, a new experiment, a new thing. And I hope you'll join me because I think so many people that I've had the chance to have conversations with have been so instrumental in my journey and helping me think through some of these things. But I'm excited to take a more active stance to say, how do we take a look at both of these camps, dive in deeper, and then actively create something that serves us in the way that we needed to?